Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to analyze the live price action for EU and DXY to see what opportunities may be available for today. You're going to see my strategy and my analysis, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. Right, we're starting off here on the daily. Right, what's the daily chart showing us? Well, yesterday we closed out as a bullish doji, so we could see the last 2 days as a bit more of a deceleration. We didn't go on and make a new higher high, right? So that bullish momentum seems to have died down that we was having, so that's why I'm reading that as a possible continuation of a resistance of price stalling in that area. So far today we've already swept previous daily lows, right? So sell side liquidity on EU, buy side liquidity is swept on DXY. Let me zoom in. Buy side liquidity swept on DXY up here, right, over the previous daily high. And we came into that imbalance somewhat, but that imbalance there still exists, as so does this order block. So we may still have that draw on price, but so far today, like I said, buy side liquidity swept, sell side liquidity swept. You can see prices withdrawing from that sell side liquidity as it is on DXY from that buy side liquidity. So we'll see what effect on direction that may have today. Of course, further down within the discount of this daily leg, we still have imbalances, right, as we do here on DXY as well. So maybe in the future price could be drawn towards those discounts. So let's go down to the 4 hour and see what that's showing us. So on the 4 hour, for those who have not been watching my previous videos, this purple box up here is another 4 hour order block which we rejected on Friday, right, and began to pull back down to the discount of this bullish leg here. Right, so we have this bullish leg from this low to this high, which I'm using, which is mainly a 1 hour leg, but it's visible on the 4 hour as well. We began this pullback quite correctively towards our imbalance to fill that and our 4 hour order block. We have the same on DXY, right? We have that bearish leg, and we sort of began this pullback here, though clearly not as deep as we have on EU, but we have the same draw on price and imbalance above. Clearly price has reached down much more deeper into this discount here. We nearly made it towards this 4 hour order block. So if we analyze the price action that caused this, price pulled back during the evening yesterday. We've clearly taken buy side liquidity above these internal highs here, and then overnight and through to Asia we had that bearish move from there. And if we look at DXY, the actual push of that momentum may be caused by this. So if we zoom in, we can see that DXY really had a bearish move here and came out and took out these lows, mitigating that sell side liquidity yesterday before closing. Okay, so during that late New York evening session, we took out these lows, right, sell side liquidity, and then we had that bullish push overnight into Asia today. We failed to take out this high here when we pulled back on EU. So we have SMC divergence. So DXY made a lower low from this low to this low, and EU made a lower high from this high to this high here. So that indicated early signs of weakness, which we've possibly had right now. And then DXY used this sell side liquidity to make that bullish run. So that explains this price action here. I believe we're at that point where I would like to wait to see what price action does. We have this draw on price above here on DXY with the imbalance. Okay, DXY hasn't pulled back as deeply into that. It may or may not do that, but that's still there for a draw on price, right? Especially with the higher time frame SMC divergence. So there is definitely still more room for EU to continue bearish today. However, at the same time, as we can see, DXY has swept buy side liquidity and obviously is in this downtrend and may continue to make lower lows, right? Because now we've nearly filled this imbalance here as well, right? We're in the discount of this leg. Price may find its support to continue going higher. So where I want to be patient is I want to see price come into this area, if I'm honest, or structure to form here and then break to the upside. So that's the immediate thoughts I'm getting from this 4 hour price action. So there's not much more to discuss on the 4 hour. Let's move down to the 1 hour and see what that shows us. So on the 1 hour here, you can see we've got that leg, which is quite clear, this bullish leg, and all of this price action is internal to this external bullish leg on the 1 hour. Now, like I explained in the late New York session and evening, we came up above these highs, took the buy side liquidity around this area and maybe above here too. Then we had that bearish move overnight and into this morning. And then on DXY, of course, we took that sell side liquidity, SMC divergence, and had that bullish move this morning. At the moment, DXY has closed as a sweep of buy side liquidity above the previous daily highs. To me, this gives me the indication, right, that DXY may want to head lower because we haven't closed above these highs. So even though we have this drawn price here, it's quite possible that DXY won't mitigate this and can continue going lower. Now, I do see this area here on EU as a good area of support to look for longs, of course. So we have our order blocks here on a 1 hour and 4 hour. Price has been pulling back here pretty much correctively, and internally now we've obviously made that lower low. Okay, so I do believe price wants to go lower on EU because of this internal structure here, right? External bullish leg, internal range, swept the buy side liquidity, breaker structure to the downside. So I do believe we could be pulling back here, maybe feel some sort of imbalance and continue lower into this area here, which would obviously mean DXY finds some sort of support and continues going higher up into this area here, or possibly just more into this imbalance. So as I said on the 4 hour, I do want to be patient. I don't want to try and look for those longs just yet from price making this lower low here and just assuming this is the area of support now and that will go long from here. So I'd rather wait until we get into this POI or for order flow to come into the market and us to start making higher highs to look like we are coming for this high up here. So there's some opposing factors, of course, right, with the way this candle closed and took buy side liquidity. But I do believe for EU to go lower to this area of support, which is what I would prefer to see us gain that support from to head higher. So I hope that's clear. Any questions, let me know in the comments. So we're still in this range here on DXY that we've created. We've just sweeping sell side liquidity, sweeping buy side liquidity. Price isn't breaking and closing above those on the higher time frames. In this 1 hour internal leg here, we have our POIs, right? We have imbalance here, imbalance above that, with I guess an order block there as well. So there's multiple places that price could see possible resistance from. And at the moment, I'm thinking I don't want to look for those shorts while DXY looks like it's weak, taking buy side liquidity and can continue lower. Okay, so I do want to wait for things to line up a bit better for me. So let's go down to the M15 and we'll see what we may be looking for today. So we have that external range here on the M15, which is the hourly range there, and we're pulling back from this discount area here. And we may find some resistance around this New York Daily Open, where we've got this M15 order block just above the Asia range midline, right? So this could possibly show some resistance, or maybe it will be up here. And I don't want to try and predict that. So I think I would just ignore the shorts unless something that I cannot ignore comes into the market. Maybe we create some sort of range around this area, I don't know, sweep it and then break down again, and then we get something to pull back to go lower. But like I said, I don't want to be searching and chasing for shorts just because I believe price will go lower into this area, because DXY also looks like it could head lower on the higher time frames, even though on this M15 it's created this new bullish internal leg here and could also find that support to go higher. But I want to wait for things that look more high probability to me. So my preference is for me to wait for price to come down into this 4 hour or maybe even the 1 hour and M15 POIs down here and just find its support, right? Maybe it'll sweep its own internal low, which is always great to have internal liquidity on your side, and then break structure. So break a structure above here, then I can start looking for lower time frame setups on our order block with fair value gap there to go higher with trend. So this is what I would be looking for preferably, and just be patient for. So internal sell side liquidity taken below these lows here. Obviously this structure here doesn't need to be just one simple structure. It may continue for a few more hours. Break above the high for break of structure around here. Pullback leaving inducement above our order block, possibly here from a corrective pullback, and then our order block just below, to set our order to go long, stop loss just below the lows, right, to aim for wherever your plan targets. So preferably this, I think, because we're so close to this discount, we've already dipped into it, and those higher time frame negatives that I mentioned as well, I don't really want to search for the shorts around here. I believe price will go lower just from my analysis, but I don't need to search for every move. I'll just wait for that high time frame POY here to hold, show support, and then price to possibly go in our direction bullish again. Obviously on the higher time frame we have even more draws on price below, which is why I'll wait for these shifts in price. Like I said, I won't be looking for the shorts unless something that I cannot ignore comes into the market. So I hope that was clear. I hope you gained value from that. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.